Hi guys, good morning. Welcome to Rize and Adaptations platform. Today we are going to start a new chapter from +2, that is organisms and population. So in that today we are going to discuss organisms and their habitat or environment, responses to abiotic factors and adaptations. So first, this is very important. Usually you used to miss the introduction which is given in every chapter. That is very much important in few NEET question papers. From that content questions asked. Okay, so Ramdev Misra, he is known as father of ecology in our country, India. Okay, he was born on August 26th, 1908, and he did his PhD in ecology. Okay, and his guide was Professor W.H. Pearsall, FRS from Leeds University, UK. Okay, see, even from this data, you may expect questions. And he established teaching and research in ecology at the Department of Botany of Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi. So where he established his research lab at Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi. So each and every sentence you can expect question. So please don't ignore the content which is given from in a box at the beginning of many chapters. Okay. So his research just he did on tropical communities and their succession, environmental responses of plant population, how they are responding to the different environments, and how the productivity is affecting with the environmental conditions, and nutrient cycling in tropical forest and grassland ecosystems. So based on these research, he found out so many factors. And again, he formulated the first postgraduate course in ecology in India. So he is responsible for the environmental biology or ecology, what we are studying in BSc and MSc ecology, BSc ecology. Like that, he invented the syllabus for postgraduate degree, and he produced nearly 50, he guided 50 PhD students. And again, they are doing research in different topics under ecology. And again, he was honored with the fellowships of, this is also very much important, you may expect questions, that is Indian National Science Academy Award and World Academy of Arts and Science Fellowship. Okay, and again, one more award he got was Sanjay Gandhi Award in the Environment and Ecology. So due to his efforts, the Government of India established the National Committee, this is also important, the National Committee for Environmental Planning and Coordination in the year 1972. Okay, so all these things are given in NCERT. So which is later years paved the way for the establishment of, because of this, the Ministry of Environment and Forest, it was established by the Government of India in 1984. Nandini? Nandini?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so father of ecology in India is Ramdev Misra. He was born on 26th August 1908. He did his PhD in ecology. His guide was W.H. Pearsall, UK University, Leeds University, UK. And again, he did his research in Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi. What are the topics of his interest? That is also important. And again, he formulated the syllabus for postgraduate course for the first time in India. He produced 50 scholars, that is 50 PhD students he guided. And again, he got many fellowships and awards. What are they? Indian National Social Science Academy and World Academy of Arts and Science, and Sanjay Gandhi Award of Environment and Ecology. So because of his efforts, he insisted government to establish this National Committee for Environmental Planning and Coordination. Because of that, Ministry of Environment and Forest developed. Separate Ministry for the Protection of Environment and Forest was developed in the year 1984. This is also important. Yeah, so let us move on to the chapter. So first, what is ecology? So what is the definition of ecology? It is the study of interactions among organisms and their environment, okay, where they are living. Okay, so exact definition is study of interactions among organisms in an environment, how the organisms are interacting with each other, okay, and between the organism and its environment, how they are interacting with the environment also, not only with the organisms of that particular population, but with the environment. So it is concerned with 4 levels of biological organization. First one is organisms. What are organisms and what are populations, communities, and biomes? So let us see one by one. First, organisms. What are organisms? So if you take that is one particular species, which is the basic unit of even taxonomy. This is the basic unit of ecology also. Okay, and this, what do you mean by organism? Every individual of particular species is called as organism. If you take me, I am an organism. Nandini is an organism. So like that, each and every individual of particular species is called as organism. And then what is population? So population again, for example, human population, you can say. Dog population, you can say. Cat population, you can say. So the entire species, total number of organisms together make a population. That's it. So organisms with similar features and potential with inbreed is called as population. And then what do you mean by this? Communities? Group of populations of different species that live in an area and interact among themselves. So how dog and human are getting interacted, how dog and cat is getting interacted. So this is called as communities. Okay. And biomes. What is biomes? Again, this is very much important. A large naturally occurring community of flora and fauna. So if you take one particular ecological area, so totally in this area, both plants and animals will be there. Plants and animals will be there. That is flora and fauna in one area. So that is called as biome. For example, if you take the major habitat, for example, you can take a pond also. So here it is given like forest of tundra forest. So what are all the flora, fauna, what are all the different kinds of plant species and animal species together with that habitat is called as biomes. Yeah. Yes, again, so physiological ecology, that is ecology at organism level. Physiological ecology means how, that is the study of adaptation, because it is not, the environment is not always same. The temperature, rainfall, what can you say, humidity, water level, everything will be changing. So physiological ecology means in that environment, if one organism is living, means how it is getting adapted to the different situations existing in the environment. That is called as physiological ecology. Okay, so that is because only those, you know very well that Darwin's natural selection. So whatever the animals living in a particular environment, if the change is very harsh, few of the organisms can survive, reproduce, and continue their progeny. So this is the study how they are adapting to the changes in the environment and continuing the reproduction process. Yes. So see here how, why the environment is getting changed. That is very much important. So that is temperature change and light, everything is changed because of the rotation of Earth and tilting of its axis. Okay, so annual variations of winter, autumn, rainy seasons vary based on the rotation of Earth. Okay, and again, this is the reason why climates are getting changed. Climatic changes is due to the tilting of Earth and its axis. And again, see here, what are the major biomes? So I already explained what is biome. So desert, rainforest, so many are there. Tundra, so grasslands, again you can say. Apart from that, again even aquatic biomes you can say. So many biomes are there in India also and in worldwide also. Okay. And apart from that, so why we have to segregate this? Why we are giving it as desert name, rainforest? Why we are varying it means because the climatic conditions of particular biome will vary. Okay, see for example, snowfall will be there in the polar regions. It is not there in the tropical regions. So based on that, the biomes are classified. Okay, and again, regional and local variations within a biome lead to the formation of different habitats. So how the different habitats are formed because of this climatic changes, all other variations which is formed due to so many factors that leads to the formation of different habitats. Yes, see, this diagram is important. Again, you may get questions. You may get questions. Okay. And see here. So here there are different biomes given, different habitats given. Okay. So what is the mean annual temperature? This is very much important. It will be asked in the question, NEET question. And again, see here 5 to 23. The maximum is 22, you can say. So this desert, the temperature will be 5 to 22 degree C. Maximum temperature of the desert will be like this. And again, if you take Arctic and Alpine tundra, that is -10. So if you take, this is not greater than 5. So maximum 2. So here, this will be -15 to 2 degree C. You can say like that. So for each and every biomes, the temperature is very much important. And again, you have to remember the biomes also. So here they will mention as A, B, C, like that. So you have to remember this. So nearby this D. Next is G, grassland, desert, grassland, grassland. And again, this is temperate forest. Okay, and this long one is tropical forest. See here, the temperature is almost same. Okay, and again, if you take this one is temperate forest, next is coniferous, and below that is negative temperature exist in polar regions. So please remember this. And again, which is denoting which biome is very much important. You may expect questions. Understood, dear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So again, life exists even in extreme and harsh habitats. For example, thermal streams. Okay. Yeah, see, Rajasthan desert. So if you take in the summer, the temperature will be very high. We cannot, that is those who are living in the polar region, they cannot withstand. And rain-soaked Meghalaya forest. Meghalaya forest always, that is Sirapunchi, you know, the maximum rainfall is in India will be in Sirapunchi. And again, deep ocean trenches. And this is like thermal streams and thermal springs, torrential streams, and permafrost polar regions. That is totally snow falling regions and high mountain tops, compost pits. Even in compost pits also, so many microbes are living. Microbes and other organisms. Okay, so we cannot say that each and every habitat will be having the same conditions for living. So each and every habitat will have their own populations. Yes. So again, the physical chemical, that is abiotic components. So what are the important abiotic components? This you are learning from your lower classes. Okay, water, light, temperature, and soil. So these are, apart from that, pH, everything is there. So major factors are water, light, temperature, soil. And what do you mean by biotic and abiotic? The living components are biotic, abiotic, non-living. Okay, so here biotic components, if you take even microbes, pathogens are there, parasites are there, predators are there, competitors are there. Okay, like that, even producers are there, consumers are there. So this is called as biotic component of a habitat, and the abiotic components include water, light, temperature, and soil. So this all both biotic and abiotic factors lead to the variations in the habitats. Okay, so the distinct, for example, if you take desert, the water level, light level, temperature, soil of that desert, everything will vary. And the biotic components means the organisms which are living in that desert will vary when compared to the rainy areas, or else tropical forest, or else polar regions. You can compare two habitats. So the distinct role and position of an organism in its environment is called niche. So how one organism, it is playing a major role in its environment, in its habitat, that is called as niche. Okay, so by this, each organism tolerates various conditions, utilizes various resources, and it is known as survival of fittest, and it continues its existence. Yeah, let us see the abiotic factors: temperature, water, light, and soil. First one, temperature. So as I discussed, the temperature of each and every habitat varies. So why this varies? The temperature of the habitat varied by majorly the activity of sun. Okay, because of sun, based on the sun rays reaching on the earth of different habitats, the temperature varies. Okay, so most ecological relevant environmental factor is temperature. Okay, so again, based on the season, so we also, even in January and December and January, temperature of southern part of India gets lower, even northern parts also. So if you, at the same time, if you compare May, June, April, May, June, so it is reaching the peak. Okay, so again, if you take the, that is already we saw in biodiversity and conservation. So automatically the polar regions have lesser diversity. So like that, the temperature is getting decreased when we move from tropical to temperate regions. Got it? So see, for example, and again, in high altitude, if you compare the that is different landscapes, the temperature varies. It gradually decreases from equator to the poles. Okay, and from plains to the mountain tops. From plains to the mountain tops. So here the higher temperature, here the low temperature will be there. So the, again, the temperature is again, if you take in deserts, it is greater than 50 degrees C in peak summer. Okay, and again, average temperature in thermal springs and deep sea hydrothermal vents will be 100 degrees C. And even here, few of the microbes can survive. Okay, so what is want of rule? Can you remember the recall and inform me, Nandini? What is want of rule? Do you know, Nandini?
No.
Okay, see, every 10-degree rise in temperature, every 10-degree rise, increase in temperature, you can say. Every 10-degree increase in temperature doubles the enzyme activity, you can say. So products will be doubled. So this is called as want of rule. Okay, and what do you mean by ectotherms, poikilotherms, and cold-blooded animals? So if you compare two different things, that is, few of the organisms, they cannot regulate the body temperature. Always their body temperature will be same, even though if there is some environmental changes. For example, if you take human beings, they are having the regulated temperature, body temperature, even though in very cold conditions or very hot conditions. Okay, so those organisms which can regulate the body temperature is called as endotherms, homeotherms, and warm-blooded. And few of the organisms, their body temperature keep on varying based on the environmental temperature, which cannot regulate the body temperature. That is, which cannot regulate the same body temperature throughout the year. So those are called as poikilotherms, cold-blooded. This we already discussed also. Okay, yeah. See, if you take a few of the species, they can grow in particular temperature, either plants or animals if you take. So if you keep polar bears in the desert, definitely they will die. If you keep camels in the polar regions, definitely they will die. Okay, so like that, mango trees, they cannot grow in temperate countries like Canada and Germany. Okay, and again, there is no snow leopard in Kerala forest. And tuna fishes are rare beyond tropical latitudes in the ocean. And these are very much important. Okay, so again, question can be framed from this also. Temperature affects kinetics of the enzyme. I told you, want Huck's rule. Okay, this affects the kinetics of the enzyme. So why they cannot live means, they are having their own body temperature, which will activate all the metabolic reactions. So automatically, if we are keeping those animals in different environment, their enzymes will become inactive or hyperactive sometimes. So basal metabolism and other physiological functions of the organism will vary, and thereby that leads to so many disorders. And based on the range of thermal tolerance, organisms are of two types. One is eurythermal and another one is stenothermal. See, these eurythermal organisms, they can survive in many ranges of temperatures. Even though, for example, if I take one organism which is living in the south end, like Kanyakumari, and if I'm keeping it in Delhi, it can survive. Okay, and some stenothermal means they cannot tolerate entire variation in the temperature, only to the narrow range of temperature they can tolerate and survive. So these are the two differences existing between eurythermal and stenothermal. Yes, that's all about temperature. So temperature, you have to remember what is eurythermal, stenothermal, and these examples. Okay, and what after you have to remember. That's all. Next factor is water. Second most important factor is water. And again, desert organisms have special adaptations to the limited water. So productivity and distribution of plants is depend on water majorly, because water is needed for photosynthesis, and again plants giving food for so many consumers. So water is very much important, and for aquatic organisms, this water quantity alone is not important, but the quality, it matters. Okay, see, for example, chemical composition. Automatically, due to the chemical composition, the pH of that water bodies will change. So some of the pH variations may lead to harmful conditions for living organisms. And again, salinity, salt concentration. So the salinity and pH is very much important in water bodies. Okay, and automatically, if you check the pH and salinity of each and every water bodies, it is not same. It is not same. Like temperature is varying based on the height and equator to polar regions. So like that, here also each and every water bodies, they are having their own qualities. Okay, see, for example, if you take this pH and salinity, so salinity, if you take, it is lesser than 5 in land waters. If you take sea water, it is full of salt. So it is about 30 to 35%. And again, it is greater than 100 in some hypersaline lagoons. So the salinity varies based on the habitats, water habitats. And again, here also, based on the tolerance for the salinity, euryhaline, stenohaline. So as I explained, eurythermal, here they can tolerate wide range of salinities. And stenohaline, they can tolerate only that is narrow range of salinity. Okay, so for example, many freshwater animals, if you keep, if you're transferring them from that freshwater environment to the saline water, they will die. Like that, the saline water, because osmotic problems will exist. That is osmoregulators and osmoconformers. There are two different organisms, osmoregulators and osmoconformers. We are going to see that. Okay, so water regulators and conformers, let us discuss, because that is some of the organisms they can tolerate and some they cannot tolerate, they'll die. Okay, and again, next is in adaptation, we are going to see water regulators and conformers. And here, light, the third factor is light. So we very well know that the photosynthesis is happening in the presence of sunlight and with the help of water and carbon dioxide. So what are the major features needed for photosynthesis? Temperature matters, light, water, carbon dioxide. Okay, see, for example, if you take in a thick forest, canopy trees are there. What do you mean by canopy trees? That is widely spreaded trees. So below this tree, again, many small plants will be there. So here the light received by this small plants will be lesser. For example, herbs and shrubs. Okay, but even then they are living, they are getting adapted to the condition of very low light. Okay, and many plants depend on sunlight for photoperiodism also, for flowering. What do you mean by photoperiodism? You know that. Okay, Already you learned in botany also. So for flowering also, that is the red and infrared light is very much important. And again, many animals use the diurnal and seasonal variations in the light intensity and photoperiod for timing. Therefore, foraging, reproductive and migratory activities. So for all these activities, many animals use the diurnal and seasonal variations in light intensity and photoperiod for timing their foraging, reproductive and migratory activities. So based on this light, these many activities are getting changed in the organism. So what is the source of light? As I told, sun. And even temperature is determined by sun. Yeah, see, again, this light intensity, that is quality and quantity of light varied in different habitats. For example, if you take the deep oceans greater than 500 meters, okay, the environment is dark and the light which is penetrating below 500 meters, that is, if we travel more than 500 meters in the deep sea, we cannot see anything. It is becoming very dark and there is no energy available from sun. Sunlight energy is not available. Okay, so that is, and again, after this light, one more thing is important, the spectral quality of solar radiation, for example, UV spectrum. So if it is getting increased automatically, that leads to so many disorders in many organisms, not only human beings, like skin cancers may exist because the UV rays, they will cause mutations. Okay. Yes. Fourth factor is soil. So study of soil is called as pedology and edapology. Okay. And the nature and properties of soil is different due to climate. And if you take, there are so many soils, different varieties of soils, black soil, red soil, loamy soil, desert soil is different. Like that, each and every soil is having its own pH, its own water holding capacity, its own organic matter, and its own minerals. Everything varies in soil also. Okay, and this is because of climatic conditions, weathering process. Weathering process means again getting converted into smaller parts, and sedimentation, method of soil development, etc. So based on the other factors like temperature, water availability, light, these processes vary for soil, and soil quality also gets differentiated. So again, as I told, soil composition and soil grain size and aggregation determine the percolation and water holding capacity. See, for example, if there is no space for the entry of water, which is received from the rain, automatically it will be stagnant and the water is not getting inside the soil. So that is based on the soil quality. So these characters and parameters like pH, even I told you, pH, mineral composition, topography, determine the vegetation and animals in India. So based on these factors only, because how much water can be captured by the soil, that is very much helpful for the plant for living. And some of the plants, they need more water. Some few plants, they need less water. So based on that, the properties of soil varies, and based on these properties, the living organism, that is biotic factors of that particular habitat will vary. And in aquatic environment, the sediment characteristics determine the type of benthic animals. Yeah, see, responses to abiotic factors. So how the biotic factors are responsive to abiotic factors like temperature, water, light, and soil. So see here, they maintain a constant internal environment, which is called as homeostasis. So they are having to maintain this homeostasis, they are following different mechanisms. Okay, so different mechanisms are available for maintenance of homeostasis in each and every organisms. Okay, even though it is varying. For example, in summer and winter, we are able to tolerate to some extent. That is done with the help of different mechanisms to maintain homeostasis. Okay, so how they are maintaining homeostasis means by different mechanisms: regulation, that is conformers, regulators, migrators, suspension, suspend. So regulate, conform, migrate, suspend are the four processes for maintenance of homeostasis. See, what do you mean by regulate? So how I already told you that our body temperature will be almost 37 degrees C always. So this can be regulated by our system. So in summer, we used to sweat a lot. Okay, so by that process, we can maintain the body temperature. So it is the maintenance of homeostasis by physiological and behavioral means, even though there is change in the habitat. See, it ensures constant body temperature, which is called as thermoregulation. And that is constant osmotic condition, that is called as osmoregulation. See, for example, all birds and mammals and very few lower vertebrates and invertebrates, they comes under regulators. Okay. Next factor is again how the thermoregulation in mammals is happening. This is very easy. And the success of mammals is mainly due to their ability to maintain the constant body temperature. See, if you compare the vertebrates, invertebrates, mammals are in higher order. Okay, and again in summer, how they are getting regulated with the changes in the temperature. In summer, when outside temperature is more, what will happen? By sweating, the cooling effect of body will adjust the temperature. So this results in evaporative cooling and brings down the body temperature. And again in winter, when the temperature is below 37 degrees, shivering occurs. So again, due to that process, that produces heat and increases the body temperature to 37 degrees. Yes. So this thermoregulation is energetically expensive, especially for small animals like shrews and hummingbirds, because they have a large surface area relative to their volume. And again, this is important. Please remember this. So they lose body heat very fast. And if you take the polar regions, most of the polar animals are very big animals. So because of this reason, small organisms cannot live in polar region. So from this you can expect question. Okay, that is they have large surface area relative to their volume. Because of that, they lose body heat very fast. So they cannot regulate the body temperature. Because of this reason, they cannot live. Small animals cannot live in polar regions. Yes, second is conform. So here 99% of the animals and nearly all plants cannot maintain the constant internal environment. They cannot maintain the normal temperature. Normal temperature is not maintained. So they will keep on changing their temperature based on the environmental conditions. Okay. And again, their body temperature or osmotic concentration changes with the surrounding conditions. So these organisms are called as conformers. So I think now you can differentiate what are regulators. They can regulate the body temperature and osmoregulation will be regulated constantly, even though there is a vast difference in the environment. But here in conformers, their body temperature and osmolarity will be keep on changing based on the environmental conditions. Yeah. So in aquatic animals, osmotic concentration of body fluids changes with that of the ambient osmotic concentration of the external environment. Okay, see this graph is very much important. See, if you take regulators, they maintain the internal body temperature and osmolarity. Okay, but if you take conformers, they will keep on changing. So if increasing with the external environment, their internal environment will also keep on increasing both temperature and osmolarity. And few of the organisms comes under this partial regulators. So what do you mean by partial regulators? Again, up to certain level, they keep on increasing. and after that they will maintain. So this graph is also important. See, this is conform a straight line, and like this is regulators and partial regulators. Please remember this. Yeah. Third thing, again, many animals like birds, if the temperature changes are there, if water level is getting reduced in their living habitat, again they used to migrate from one place to another. They move away, even they used to travel even thousands of kilometers away from their regular environment. Okay, so again that environment, usual habitat will be stressful for few days or few months. So during those stressful climatic changes, birds used to fly thousands of kilometers away from that stressful habitat. Okay, this is one of the important example for migration. So during winter, you may expect question. During winter, Keledo National Park, Bharatpur, Rajasthan, it receives so many migratory birds from where? From Siberia. See how long they are traveling from Siberia and other extremely cold northern part. Okay, this is one of the example for migration. Yeah, fourth factor is suspend. See, for example, in bacteria, fungi, and lower plants, thick-walled spores. That is even in frog, you might have learned about hibernation and estivation. So like that, suspend means they will stop their life for some duration. So whenever the habitat is having unfavorable conditions for few of the organisms, those organisms suspend their life for few days. Okay, and again they will start living when they are getting the suitable conditions. And again they used to germinate. Even seeds also you can say. See, in higher plants, seeds are some vegetative reproductive structures serve to tide over periods of stress by reducing their metabolic activity. See, when for seed germination, water is necessary. So whenever seed is not getting water, it will be suspended. The growth of the seed will be suspended. That is called as suspend. Okay, so only the seeds will get metabolic activity will be induced in the seeds only after soaking in water. Okay, yes. For example, see, hibernation during winter, estivation in summer. Again, you can expect questions. Okay, and again, diapers, that is suspended development of many zooplanktons in lakes and ponds. So these are the examples of suspend. Yeah, so the last topic is adaptations. So adaptations, again, adaptation is the, what is the definition for adaptation? Adaptation means morphological and physiological and behavioral changes happening in an organism to survive and reproduce in its habitats, even though the minor changes are happening in the environment. Okay, and again, how the adaptations are happening, again here, it is not happening very suddenly. Again, they have evolutionary adaptations and it will take more time, and that will be fixed genetically. So some of the mutations are helping to the organisms to get adapted, and their physiological, morphological, and behavioral activities are getting changed very slowly by evolution. Yeah, examples for adaptation are, first one, internal fat oxidation gives water as byproduct if there is no external source of water. It is very important. See here, in desert, if there is no water is living, the water will be produced by the fat stored in their body. So due to fat oxidation releases some water. So this will be used by the organism. This is one of the adaptations which are living, that is animals which are living in the low water areas. They will get adapted by this process, and ability to concentrate urine so that minimum loss of water will be there. Okay, so these organisms, when they are not getting water, they concentrate their urine and thereby reduces the water wastage. Okay, Yeah, and again, if it, the above mentioned are for animals, and even desert plants, if you take, they are also having exclusively very good adaptive situations. See, for example, if you take desert plants, they have thick cuticle and on leaf surfaces. So cuticle, you know, what is the role of cuticle? That prevents the water release, water loss, and sunken stomata. So stomata, you know, this is responsible for the hole which is responsible for transpiration. So due to sunken, small transpiration, so due to small sized stomata, transpiration levels will be decreased. Because of that, loss of water will be minimized. And crustacean acid metabolism photosynthetic pathway, this also enables their stomata to close. That is, in desert plants, they follow this. So in these plants, if you take, they follow this crustacean acid metabolism. Because of that, their stomata will be closed during the daytime, when that is when the temperature and sunlight is more. So during daytime, the stomata will be closed so that water loss will be controlled. And desert plants like Opuntia have no leaves. So leaves, no leaves means again no stomata, and they are reduced to spines. So water loss is minimized in this way. And here in Opuntia, photosynthesis is done by stems. Yeah. So one more adaptation example, mammals. So mammals of colder climate, polar regions have shorter ears and limbs. Why? To reduce the heat loss. Again, this is also important. So this rule is called as Allen's rule. Allen proposed that that is, the organisms are having reduced few of the structures to maintain the body temperature, to reduce the heat loss from the body. Okay, that was proposed by Allen. So this is called as Allen's rule. So aquatic mammals like seals have thick layer of fat below their skin. So this is usually even polar region also. So that fat layer is acting as insulator, and this also reduces the loss of heat. And apart from that, even, so this is also very important, archibacteria, which are found in hot springs and deep sea hydrothermal vents. So they can survive even if the temperature is above 100 degree. Okay, and many fish in Antarctic waters, they can live below 100 degree. So these two are examples for adaptations of biotic factors in two different extreme conditions. So many marine invertebrates and fishes live at great depths of the ocean where the pressure is greater than 100 times of the normal atmospheric pressure. So we cannot withstand. Okay. So again, some of the fishes and some marine invertebrates, they can adapt the high pressure environment also. Yeah. See, again, one more example here. So if you are traveling to high altitude, for example, greater than 3,500 meter in mountain, we feel altitude sickness automatically. We used to have vomiting, nausea, everything. For example, if you visit Rohtang Pass, Manali, so automatically we used to have some giddiness or vomiting sensation, everything. Okay, nausea, and our heartbeat will be more, and we used to feel tired. And this is because of the low atmospheric pressure existing in that high altitude. So again, there the oxygen levels are less when compared to the plains. So here automatically our body gets adapted to that situation. How? Means by increasing RBCs. Because of the low availability of oxygen, the number of RBCs automatically get increased. And even we used to breathe very fastly. That is, the respiratory rate will be increasing. And again, here, due to the low oxygen availability, hemoglobin binding affinity with the oxygen will be decreased. Okay, so based on this environmental change, our body is getting adapted to that situation by increasing the RBC and by increasing the rate of respiration. Yes, and one more adaptation is desert lizards. This is also quite interesting. Okay, see again, they bask in the sun and absorb heat when their body temperature is low. So based on their body temperature, they move to the sun when when it needs heat. And again, after regulating its body temperature, it will come to the shaded region. It won't stay always under the sun. So again, it will move back to the shaded region when its body temperature is increased. Okay, and some of the species, they used to make hole under the soil burrow, and again they hide and escape from the above ground heat. Okay, so these are the examples for adaptations. Each and every example is very much important. Okay, any doubt dear Nandini?
No, ma'am.
Easy only now. This is full.
Yes, ma'am.
No, yeah, concept explanation is not needed here, but full of theory. Each and every line is very much important. You can frame a question from each and every sentence which is given in this PPT. Please go through that. Okay. And Nandini,
Yes, ma'am.
I will forward few questions for you in evolution. Okay, you please try with that, because different questions with the diagrams given for different eras. Okay, you please go through all the questions in evolution,
Okay.
which I'm going to send you today. Today I will send. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.